Author Christy Jordan Fenton brought 4 books that are all based on her mother's experience in a residential school. Christy says usually students have a passionate reaction when learning the trauma and heartache through her journey.
A lot of children really gain strength from how Margaret managed to be her own hero and to survive the schools, whether they're coming from, sometimes have new Canadians coming from overseas and children who've experienced some pretty harsh things themselves. And then when they see that Margaret as a child was her own hero, it gives them hope for themselves.
Christy believes showing students an example of a role model and hero in Indigenous culture is extremely important.
How really amazing it is that so many Indigenous communities have wholeheartedly embarked on this healing journey, and that there's so many special things going on when you see little ones, dancing tiny tots at a powwow. To see that after just a generation or two before, having parents or grandparents who are in residential school, is really something to be celebrated. And I think it's important for children to start understanding how really special and remarkable that is. So.
Her stories have a strong and kid-friendly way of teaching kids the horrors of residential schools with a backstory from her mother behind each book. Christy has been touring around schools all across Saskatchewan since the start of the new year. She plans to continue on her tour with a total of 60 presentations. Her favorite part of this tour is the major impact it leaves young Indigenous students after she reads.
Young Indigenous children come up and introduce themselves by what nation they come from, who they belong to, and by their traditional names. And I get very emotional every time a young person comes up and shares that with me.
And that's it in this week's Beyond the Classroom.